This is going to be the most talked about final in challenge history.
Nerese gave Kylan a 4. Aren't they best friends? Isn't that all she ever fucking says is how they're best friends?
So
if you're just like wiggling it. And it's just...
I've been trying to talk Jenny into making an OnlyFans of just me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final episode of season 40 at the number one, the Right Reality Podcast. My name is Stephen.
And my name is Mixie, as Stephen so eloquently put. It is the final, baby. Part 1 and 2, episode 18 and 19 of the challenge season 40. We made it, people. It's been since when did this season start? October?
August.
Oh my goodness.
August.
Well, we did it, everyone. Incredible. I've had relationships that lasted shorter amount of time. This is very good for us. Thank you for joining us. We will be recapping parts 1 and 2 of the final. So we're getting the whole final in one episode. We also have maybe some people at the end.
I think we do. I think we're far enough into this episode now in terms of time that if this is auto playing by accident, you should have got out of it by now.
We're going to tell you who won because we talked to them. It was Rachel and Jenny. We have Rachel and Jenny on the podcast after we finished discussing the final. We had a great convo with them. And so we will let you guys listen in on that after this. I mean, we're giving you content. We're giving it to you fast and quick, just like you like it.
Oh, hey-o. Yeah, I got to get up in the morning, get it to it fast and quick, and let me get to work, baby.
Yeah, you have to edit it all. Have fun with that.
Yeah, I have to edit this later. Mixie gets to go to sleep here in like 3 hours, and I will probably be up for the next 8 hours of my life dealing with this. So congratulations. You better thumbs up this fucking video and share it and like do all the things you can with it and tell people and just share. You know what? Share it to your mother so we get like a share thing. Yeah, just do that.
That would be great.
Share it to your phone.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Share it. We appreciate it. If this is your first time finding us, you found us on a great episode. Welcome to the final. Welcome to the number one, the best fucking podcast for the challenge out there. Coming up in this week's episode, as we just said, we have the interview with the 2 female winners of this show. Maybe a trip to the conspiracy corner. I know you're all thinking it, so we'll go over there. A tie?
What?
And raise your hand if you're coming around to Michelle now, y'all.
Ooh. You know what? I'm going to throw in Kylan on that too.
Oh, okay. See? Stuff I don't even know about. So I'm going to be surprised.
Exciting.
You're going to be surprised. We're going to have a great time here on the number one. So let's get going. Mixie, before we even start, I wanted to ask you, how did you feel about the final in general, just in terms of like how you think you would do? We usually talk about like, oh, I feel like this isn't as hard as last year or something like that. But what do you think?
I think that this was the hardest final I've seen, especially like live, because I watched a few old episodes or old seasons. This was grueling. I did see a lot of complaints on the Twitterverse that
whoa.
I'm sorry,
Excuse
X.
me?
I'm sorry, X.
No. Complaining on social media about the challenge.
Can you believe it?
You need to lie down because obviously you're not feeling right.
I'm making it up.
What are you talking about?
I saw some stuff about people saying watching people swim is boring. While I agree.
False.
We got great pin drop graphics, so stop complaining. And it was necessary for like the whole the final as a whole for them to be doing this. The exhaustion, especially in part 2, you can just see it in Jenny's hair and Michelle's eye bags. I mean, everybody is on their very last string. And I don't think that we would have gotten them this tired and delusional if they weren't swimming as much as they were. That being said, I would have died. I don't even think I would have made it past night 1. And it's not, I mean, the physicalness of it, I think I would have struggled with, but I still feel like I would have gotten through it. I'm actually a very good swimmer. I still have the record for, I think like 200 freestyle or something for 5 to 7 year olds in my hometown. So come at me.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second.
What do you mean, okay?
They're keeping records in your hometown for 5 to 7-year-olds?
Yeah, it's on a wall at the pool.
Did you write it on there?
No, I got a little plaque. It's like a little tiny like name tag kind of thing. And they're on hooks so that if people beat the records, they change.
When's the last time you saw it on the wall?
It's been a couple years, but no 5 to 7-year-old can touch the record that I made. Anyways,
I thought you were about to say no 5 to 7-year-old can touch me, which is also true.
Can't. They can't do that either. Very true, and thank you for clarifying. Anyways, I think I would have killed it on the swim. I think that the physical stuff I would have dealt with and been okay. It's the fucking shit for me.
Yeah.
I am motion sickness queen. I would have been throwing up constantly. No chance I would have slept on that thing. You could have given me a queen mattress and fucking nice ass pillows and a beautiful blanket. I would not have slept. I would have thrown up all night. I cannot. With a ship like that, no chance.
What if I gave you a weighted blanket?
No, I need land. Or a boat with like whatever the fuck they have that helps like level it out. Because that water was choppy as fuck.
Yeah. How do you do on a cruise ship? Are you a cruise ship girl?
Cruise ships are fun because they're massive. And they have that thing that I'm talking about where they can like balance it. I don't know. You know that
You got it real close. Yeah, it was close. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying. But I think that I honest to God think I would have quit because I would have been so sick. What do you think? How do you think you would have fared?
I love a swim. I'm a big swim guy. I can handle myself in the water pretty well. Like I'm like sneaky fast swimmer. Open water swimming is a completely different animal. And I also want to say this as well. Swimming with your shoes on is not something you train for.
Take them off. I don't know why they had them on at any point in time.
Well, when they got to the things, there were some areas where it looked like they were walking on like what clearly was like rocks underwater.
Yeah,
and so their feet would have got caught up. It just, I think Jordan did it a couple times where like he got to the thing and he took his shoes off and threw it up on the thing. So when they were like going under the water, he didn't have the shoes on. But I've been in a situation like where I've fallen in a pool once or twice with shoes on, and you're like swimming around. It is the weirdest feeling ever.
You're just falling into pools?
Yeah, when you're a kid, you get pushed into pools in Florida because we all have pools in our backyard and stuff like that. It's pretty
Florida
common
privilege.
for us Floridians. Shout out Cuban Breezes. I enjoyed you while I was home. Shout out Cuban Breezes in Tampa. Shout out. Free promo.
We love you, Cuban Breezes.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great. I thought there's been a lot of complaints in the past from people that the finals are too easy. I was one of those people. This was not an easy final. They did not let up. And I think that everybody should give a little bit more respect to everyone that was in that final because nobody quit, which shocked me. Challenge USA. Nobody quit. And they all finished. So that's impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, I didn't think about the Challenge USA jab, but I appreciate it. And that's why we're the number one, because we will never rest on the fact that that should never
horrible final.
We knew it from the beginning.
We knew it episode 1 that it was going to be a terrible final.
And the only reason that we kind of enjoyed it is because we were trying to guess previously on. That was the best part.
It was the best part.
Took it away from us.
Yep, classic. But we are here to recap this final, and I want to get into that.
Okay, yeah. Let's start the episode. Part 1. You said sleeping on the boat would have been misery. I agree with you. I think also the hard part is you're just laying there. There's nothing to like comfort you. It looked as they got towards the end, I think of this, when they slept the second day, it looked like they had some sort of padding at some point.
They had a little pad night 1, but nothing crazy.
Not much. Not
Tori
much.
had a paper bag over her head. That's how you know it's rough out there.
to cover up the lights and stuff like that, which I agree with. I mean, I got a big light in front of me, obviously, now, so you can see my beautiful face. If I tried to sleep with this thing on, not happening.
Oh, man.
It's just not happening. TJ comes out and explains the price breakdown, the money breakdown.
Yes, I was confused.
Okay.
I was incredibly confused. I'm curious if anyone else struggled to follow the explanation of that, because it did not make sense to me at all. So please educate me, especially because it also didn't matter at the end, but go ahead.
We'll try this. Anybody else at home, you can go raise your hand right now if you're confused. Oh, Mix got Mix tried to hide behind her microphone if you're just listening on audio. Oh, where'd you go?
Don't look at me.
So here's how it broke down. It was at $400K for the winner, 75 for second, and 25 for third, 0 if you came in last, which
shouts out Kylan.
So that brings it up to $500K for each side. You put it together, there's your mill. I'm okay with the breakdown. I think in previous years I've been like, let's give a little bit more, let's bring it up. I feel like 475 is an okay of a drop. It like heightens the stakes.
Yeah.
Because if you make it 375 and 100, it kind of just sits different. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
I
think the breakdown's
I'm okay
good.
with the money. I'm okay with the money.
I'm okay with it as well. Obviously, the results for the women adjusted that, but I felt that if that's what it was, then that makes sense. The whole time I was watching both part 1 and part 2, I was like, I don't understand how much money they're getting, and maybe it was very clear.
What did you not understand?
I don't know. The way he described it, and I didn't write down why, but the way he described it, I think he was like bouncing around. I don't know. I didn't follow it. Maybe it was his beautiful eyes, and I was just mesmerized, and I just missed all of the words that were coming out of his mouth.
Let's make that the reason. Let's make that 100% the reason. Yeah,
that's the reason.
Okay.
I wasn't the only one. You think
it's just because she didn't understand math and numbers, guys? You're fucking wrong. Okay.
I mean, I wasn't the only one mesmerized by TJ's eyes. I was crying, laughing when he was explaining the karma vote. Michelle was barely awake, just picking lint off of her shirt while he's explaining like a massive twist in the game. And she could give two shits at a fuck. She's just picking lint off her shirt, her eyes barely open. I love her. She's an icon. She's a legend. And everybody should appreciate her more.
Now, Mixie, I have to ask you, do you believe that's when they found out about the karma vote?
I think that is when they found out about the karma vote. I think that they didn't find out about the level of it until they all finished, because it seemed like, and again, it was all interviews, so maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like they were all kind of trying to place and pace themselves and stuff with the karma vote in mind.
Yes. So my understanding is the first time they found out it was worth 2 checkpoints was at the very end when he announced the scores. Mm-hmm. We'll get to that. That's all I'm going to say.
That's interesting that it was worth 2 checkpoints. It's a pretty random checkpoint amount. We'll talk about that later.
There was only 7 checkpoints.
Yeah, so
now you end with an odd number. So there's technically 9 checkpoints.
We're ending on episode 19. Nothing makes sense. Yeah. Let's get into this first one. I completely forgot Derek had a penalty. But
yeah, me too.
Didn't fucking matter. Honest to God, I will say it. I've said it numerous times. I'll say it a fucking game. Give Derek his flowers. Give him his flowers. Give him a goddamn whole ass bouquet. Make a bear out of roses. I don't care. Give it to my guy. This guy has been slept on, and he crushed this first checkpoint and pretty much all of them. He stayed consistent. There was never a time where he like really fucked up, unless I'm forgetting something. Like, he was going and he was steady the whole time. Shouts out Derek.
Athlete.
Love you.
Athlete.
And then we've talked about this off camera a bunch, but we need to talk about it now. Once they got on land from this first swim, immediately I'm seeing wide shots. I'm like, why the fuck do they have shoes on? Why are we wearing shoes?
For a run on the beach, you'd kick them off? You would have kicked them off?
Yeah, they're like sloshing, and then if they're wet and you're running on the beach, then all that sand is getting into your shoe and wet. It's becoming wet sand while it's in your shoe. Ooh. Hell on earth.
Yeah, I didn't think about the idea that after you're getting stuff into those shoes, unless they're specially designed, which I don't think they're going to be.
No
but
chance.
Yeah, having a wet shoe, it's one of the worst things. Talk about my young days going to like Busch Gardens with a thing of wet shoes after being on Congo River Rapids. Are you kidding me? You do it at the end of the day, so you're not wearing around wet shoes all day. Everybody knows that.
I'm sorry. Does George W. Bush have a garden that you can go to?
Yeah, he does. He does. Yep.
Where?
Yep. In Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's nice. And there's Lazy River?
There's a lazy river next door at Adventure Island. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Are you fucking
whole water
with me
park
right
next
now?
door? No, look it up. The Adventure Island next door, the water
Theme
park.
Is it like a water park for George W. Bush?
Now, here's the thing. It's not George W. Bush, but I thought that was the joke you were making. It was George W. Bush. It's Anheuser-Busch.
The beer?
Yeah.
That's even better.
Because there was a brewery on site. There was an old brewery, and you used to be able to go and get free booze.
How do I not know about this? I'm mad at you.
It's not like you know anybody who lives or is from the Tampa Bay area or anything like that. Yeah.
You didn't tell me. That's on you.
Well, you weren't going there. Let's be honest.
I would. Now I want to. A beer water park?
Yeah. Yeah.
A beer water park, and you don't think I want to go to that?
Well, the beer is not at the water park. There's a theme park, like Universal Studios.
Okay.
Which is roller coasters, and there's a big zoo area. You get to see lions and tigers.
There's a beer zoo?
Yeah, it's a beer zoo that's got roller coasters.
Okay.
Now, the brewery's not there anymore, but they do have the hospitality area where you used to be. I don't know if you can still get free beer, but you used to be able to go up and get a free beer. And the story goes, from what I was told by Mom LaFranc, shout out Mom LaFranc, is that my dad and my granddad from England, when they were over one year, they went and just sat at the hospitality area all day while we were there. And they would look through the window and see when the person who was at the serving area would go on a break and somebody else would replace them. And they'd go up and be like, hey, I heard we could get a free beer.
Iconic. That's the energy right there. I love that. There you go, everybody. A little tip for when you visit George W. Bush's beer garden.
Yes, George W. Bush's beer garden. I thought you were saying that as George.
I've literally never heard of this. That was the first.
Busch Gardens.
Well, at first I was like, is there a garden that's just bushes? And then you said something about water.
You did not
and I was like,
that.
What's happening?
There's no way you thought that.
I swear to God, I've never heard of this before in my life.
You thought it was a...
Anyways, Michelle and Jordan finished first in this checkpoint.
I couldn't believe how far each of those trips were. I think they said it's like nearly a mile each way. Like total it was a mile.
Start.
And I'm like, it's like, what is that? Like 5-6 miles out of the gate? I was like, no.
I mean, what a way to start. I couldn't believe it.
No, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd be like, I'll go home now. Everybody else is going to get money. I'm going to go home now.
Yeah. And then they swim back all the way, and we are swimming back, and we're getting everybody coming back. They're exhausted already. It's checkpoint 1, and we have to discuss this. Obviously, Bananas, White Whale, Bare Ass is this week's part 1 Ass of the Week. Of the week. Okay, guys, we have to discuss this because we just last episode had a whole argument about white whale versus white buffalo, and I'm gonna say it. This proves my point. He is
What are you
calling a
talking
white
about?
whale his bare ass.
No,
You don't call the person that you don't refer to the person that you are trying to get that is unachievable as a bare, pasty ass fucking ass crack. This has definitively stated for me that it's white buffalo. And also, what are the fucking odds? Like, that was such a side tangent we did at the end of the episode, and of course, and now it's my ass of the week.
You know what the odds are, Mix. Editor 1 in fine form again with 90 call outs in part 1 with all the, this is this person. Oh, they're also in this era.
The graphics were graphicking. They were graphicking. I really hope that you guys freaked out as much as I did. Because he said, is that a white whale? And I was like, oh my God. What is happening? Him with the squirrels. I'm telling you, we are on the same wavelength. Although I do want to be very clear for the record, not into feet.
Yeah, he would make you do feet stuff, Mix.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on that.
Would you be okay, like, just showing them to him, or is that already crossing the line?
I mean, he can look at them, but like,
yeah, that's it.
If we're putting your dick on my feet, I am.
No, I didn't say that. We went from looking at it to dicks on feet. Where that's not
what they
where,
want. That's where they go.
Big jump. That's where
they go.
I don't think they physically just like slap it on.
If we're slapping it, that's funny, and I can have a conversation about that.
Stop.
If it's just like, I'm in.
Yeah, it's just your
if
foot.
If you're just like wiggling it, and it's just. How did we get here?
You like that? No, I don't. just a flaccid dick.
Do you like that? Why do you like that? I'm concerned for you. Yeah.
Oh God, can you? There's somebody who's listening right now who's into it. It's like ha 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 ha. Yeah, weird, right?
I'm not gonna yuck their yum. It's just I can't. I don't think I can deal unless we're smacking it. We're talking smacking. I'm in.
Oh God, that's. I like how you're like. Well, we can have a conversation because it's funny. But you would. He would not appreciate you laughing while he was doing it, though.
I would bury my face. I would just want to hear it. Just hearing the.
No. And you're like, I've never experienced that sensation on my foot before.
I'm like, this is great. Are you gonna come? That's what it would be.
She's like, I already did. Oh, great. Okay. Give me a towel.
Less work for me. Anyways.
Yeah. You're just like hobbling with one foot to the bathroom. Just put it in the fucking tub. Run the tub.
You're hopping with one foot just like this so it doesn't spill.
Oh God.
I'm sorry. That was hella graphic. I don't know if we keep it. Fuck it. I don't care.
I don't care. You guys know this is what you're expecting from the number. You think they're talking about just laying flaccid dicks on feet on other recaps of the final right now? I think not.
Let's go to checkpoint 2. Also, okay, while we're talking about checkpoint 2, let's discuss the travel that they had to do. They had to stand in these circles.
Yeah.
I caught numerous people not standing at numerous occasions. Jenny, victim number, top almost every single time I saw Jenny in that section. She was sitting on her feet. She was not grabbing the hook.
It's like one arm. I thought about the same thing. I'm like, is there like somebody being like, Jenny, you got to put both hands on the thing? Like, to me, it almost seems like one of those things is like, oh, if you take your hand off the car, you lose the car. You can't be like, oh, like I just sat down and then I put my other. No.
Yes, that was my thought process too. It's like there should be a penalty for this.
There should be a penalty for these types of things. Yeah, and
if
during the
singing, make it a thing.
And when they were singing, I was like, some people aren't singing; they're just going. You're not singing, so or they were just mouthing it. You know, That is something we didn't ask during our interview because we ran out of time, and you'll hear why later. That I wanted to ask them if you were to randomly hear that tone of noise, that like melody for the rest of your life, how would that make you feel?
I'm sure they still know it. I mean, Jenny doesn't, but I'm sure everybody else still knows it. Jenny also didn't sing.
No. She won. I like the fact that each of our checkpoints had names. This one was Ghost Ship. There was a puzzle, and underwater memory that you had to do. And poor Michelle got the barrel wrong, which she had right the first time. And now I sit here seeing all of this. And I hate to say it, but that barrel cost her being tied.
We were all thinking it.
At the first point, you don't think it. And then you like put it together. And if you were to look at this as in one entire episode, you go, oh, fuck, that barrel. That one barrel did it.
Yep.
But then I could also say her catching up on that swim after the maths later on, the quick draw math.
Incredible. Yeah.
I know what your answer is going to be to this. I really want to play that. And I wouldn't be good. I don't think I'd be good. But there's something about like simple math.
Oh, same.
Where there's like that type of like stakes on the line.
Oh, yeah. Did you not do that in like grade school? We did that in grade school all of the time.
Were you like competing against each other with the simple math?
Yeah, it was like King of the Hill, but for maths.
Oh.
You'd stay if you got it right.
Yeah, that seems to like some Ohio stuff. Just like, hey, we need to...
Being good at math? Sure.
Yeah, just like be ready for
Florida
for a
could
fight.
never.
We have to like, one up each other all the time.
There's
which
nothing
now
else
tracks
going
a
on.
lot. It tracks a lot for your personality. I'm starting to get
There's no
that,
whales. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know. Maths and that type of stuff. But I think that would be fun with all those stakes on the line that you're just like, so 42.
Yeah.
Like, no. I didn't get it.
It was pretty simple math too.
It was. Some of them were like, oh yeah, okay, I can see that. But also, I feel like it's easy if you see it written, you could do it quick. The others like hearing it and then having to write it. Yeah. And then answering it quickly enough. Where some of the other ones you could just hear and do it. It's like, 24 minus 16 plus. By the time you get here, it's just kind of gone out of it. But the ghost ship, swimming under the water and doing that, I'm always unsure when they show these how far under the things they need to go.
Yeah. That one didn't seem too deep, but the one where they had to like get the key... That one was deep as fuck.
It was almost an alarming amount of deep where I'm just like, be ready with an air tank, somebody, please. I don't need to see a drowning on the challenge, please. That's not what any of us came here for at this point. Please, thank you very much. But Jordan and Jenny won that one. So now I'm going, okay, Jordan's 2 for 2. Michelle and Jenny switching back and forth. And honestly... this was the beginning of me going, okay, we're probably, I would say, the front runners at this point. They're not, they didn't win any of the first two. Okay, let's see how this goes. And now we get to checkpoint number 3, which is the 1,000 steps. I go, okay, now we're on land. Maybe we're equalizing this up. We're going to walk up a lot of steps. Oh no, Jordan just wins it again.
We've said it so many fucking times, and this really needs to solidify. And even Jordan said it, I think, at the beginning of part 2, that this is the first time he's never touched sand at all. Like, what were you all doing? What were you doing? There were people that could have beat him at certain things. Like, I think Corey could have beat him with the one he played against Josh. I think that Theo could have taken him in like a hall brawl. I mean, there's numerous things. Like, Jordan is incredible, but he could have lost in the sand, but nobody fucking put him there, and he runs away with the final. This is what happens. And Kylan, get some swimming lessons, my guy.
Apparently he said there was a recap of him on another podcast where he said he did train for that. And the person asked, hey, do you want to do like anything like open water? And he's like, no, I mean, they haven't done that in so long. And
I mean,
if it
he's
is,
right,
it's
but
like a daily. But it was not that. The other thing I will say real quick is just the difference in like Jordan being here and not being here changes the entire final, obviously, depending on who else is in there. However, we talked about this a few episodes ago when we realized he got to the final. I don't think there was any opportunities, maybe besides one, maybe two, where he could have actually been voted in because of the targets and that thing. He wasn't a target a lot because Tori would win, so he wasn't able to go in. And I think there was only one or two times where they could have put him in, and I think he got saved.
Yep.
Which, again, is a crazy thought, but that's how this season is shaped, and that's kind of what you got to do.
That is true. I will agree with you on that. While we're at it, about this checkpoint, we must talk about Kylan. The pissing on the sign. This is what you need to do, people, to win me over. It is official. I am a Kylan fan. And he continues to do great stuff in part 2. But I am now officially a Kylan fan. I have completely switched over. You can get mad at me. I understand. I was probably one of his biggest haters, and he has turned the tables. Take notes, Sarah. Take a shit on a checkpoint next time, and maybe we can... No, I still fucking hate her. I don't think she can.
I was about to say, I don't even know where you're going with that. And honestly, I might have just ended your side of this call if you kept going with that.
That would have been fair. You know I can't do it. She's the worst. But Kylan taking a piss was so funny. And also, again... shouldn't be on Twitter, but people were very upset with him about this. What do you think about it? People were like, how dare you do that to production? They have to clean it up. Thoughts?
These people can lick my fucking nutsack. Sorry, Mom LaFranc. Stop.
I don't disagree. I just thought
stop. What you say? Go touch grass, right? Go touch
grass.
Some fucking grass, losers.
Pee in some grass. It's kind of fun. You should try it.
It is fun. It is lots of fun peeing on things.
Yeah.
Again,
you get to
Florida,
actually
golf
do it.
life, peeing outside, peeing on bushes, fun. You get to see the little bush, the little things like go down like this because you're pissing on them.
A great time for everybody. Literally, no one is getting hurt in this process.
He's peeing on the sign. I don't have a life. This is type. Mom, make me a fucking sandwich. Type. I hate my life.
Yes. So, continuing on, they did the puzzles. We got to talk about the puzzles. But I did find it interesting. Did you see that Michelle left her puzzle fully made?
I did not see that.
But later, when I think it was Tori was up and got hers all fucked up, there was no puzzle made. So, either A, production took her puzzle pieces out, or B, the order in which we were told things happened were not the order of which they happened.
Oh, now I would like to go back and watch that piece specifically again, because here's my other thing about that checkpoint.
Oh.
I texted you an image a little while ago before we started, which is now up here on YouTube, so you can see this. So on the left side, this is the one that she did earlier. Thank you for the sign. That it was wrong, and they've clearly highlighted the bottom left and the top right puzzle piece. Yes. Now let's just look at the one on the right. If we're being very close, we can see, okay, that is clearly wrong. But let's look at all of the other pieces. Specifically, I want to look at the one on the bottom right corner. Okay?
Okay.
Now let's look at that one versus the other one on the bottom left. That's not the same piece. It's not the same piece. That's also wrong. And you want to know how I know that's wrong? Look at the side facing camera. Yep. That's wrong. That's not the same piece. So here's what I think. Either the one on the left, obviously Tori's standing there. The one on the right, I don't think was her puzzle. I think that was somebody else's that was done, that they just used as an insert, which I don't like. If you're going to show me is the one that she did to get it right, because that's clearly not right. Look at the nose in the middle. There's a big gap going up. That's not the same one there in the middle on the right. The nose doesn't look at all the same. So it's not the same puzzle. And if it is, there's 8 different versions of the face, but it's still not right. I could sit here and say the one that's right is not right as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you're saying the one. Anyway, that doesn't matter. However.
Doesn't matter because Tori came in last.
Yeah. But I appreciate how they put this stuff on the screen, but show me
the right thing.
Show me it right, because clearly there are other pieces on that puzzle that are not right as well that match this puzzle. So whatever, it doesn't matter.
Show me to me, Rachel.
Show it to me. I mean, she was vomiting midway through this along with Rachel. This is the point where I was like, I don't think these are the people who are going to win at this point, because this does not look like they're doing very good. But
I thought Michelle and Jordan had it locked.
I was like, it's going to be down between Michelle and Jenny, which I would not have said at the start of this.
No.
And obviously this was Jordan's to lose. We thought he might pull in Nisa, but safely and smartly they decided to put him in the water so he would not do that.
And they didn't have sticks for him to trip over.
Can you imagine if like he actually took himself out doing something like that? Because remember they said during this one, you have to stay on the path.
Stay on the path. Yep. They learned. They can't tell them that they can go whatever way they want because it becomes a whole fucking thing. You can't do it.
They learned.
We are back on the boat. It is nighttime. We got coins. We got songs. I thought Jenny was going to quit. I really thought she had broken into pieces at that point. That's the last note I have is I think Jenny's going to quit. What did you think of this section of the final?
Smart.
Genius. Loved it.
It's not, we're going to make you stand all night and not sleep. We're going to make you do 2 things. One that uses your right brain and one that uses your left brain. And we're just going to screw you the entire time. If I'm one of the men competing on this, I think I'm just taking the nap and saying, I'm done. Put them all in there as fast as humanly possible and just take the nap. Try to do that in 2 goes. Just literally throw them all in there as quick as humanly possible. Because at this point, I'm just like, I'll just take a guess. Like, I would prefer the rest. It's 1 checkpoint. So realistically, like, if I get close, whatever. If I'm far off, whatever. It's a couple points.
Yeah.
But the writing was already on the wall, I think, at this point for the men, that it was a battle for second place. So
I agree.
You know, I don't know how I would have fared mentally with this aspect. We did learn during our interview why Jenny was the way that.
Yes, which you should definitely listen to that. Wait till the end. It's great.
We won't spoil it.
I won't even call it an excuse. Jenny's explanation is hilarious.
It was just a smart way of doing something different. Now, I will say the reason I thought Jenny was getting very upset, which we learned later is not the reason. Everybody besides Jenny and Derek were against a wall. So they got to lean on the wall.
Yeah.
And like Jenny and Derek are like in the middle. There was like a kind of a bar there, but there wasn't.
My back would have been cooked. Your back is out.
2.5 hours after I sit in here and edit and do this, I have to go sit somewhere else.
I also immediately get up and lay down.
Mixie, I would have never got up the next day. They would have like had to get a crane to lift me up.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jenny did it right. I feel like I probably would have started and tried. And after the first song, I would have been like, fuck this. I'm guessing. And she guessed right-ish. Like,
unbelievable, by the way. Unbelievable. She was off by 97.
Incredible stuff. I don't know how. I loved how everybody was finishing and they were putting their coin counts on the bottom and they were so different. Like I was expecting, okay, maybe like a 10, 15, 20 difference. There was hundreds. Like I think one of them was like plus 180 extra than what they actually were supposed to have or something. So funny that no one was close to each other.
Rachel was off by 58, which is after, 6,000 coins, basically, was the average, I think, something like that.
It was a little over 6,000, yeah.
To be off by 58?
Impressive.
That's crazy.
It's crazy impressive.
Tori was off by nearly 1,000, 984.
Tori staying up to do this because she knew she needed it and still coming in last. I don't dislike Tori. I'm still kind of indifferent on her, but hilarious. Hilarious. And you can't say it's not funny.
She had to do another one by herself, and she's just up there being like, I gotta.
I really thought she was gonna put her whole ussy in that song because she loves to sing.
I want to clarify this for everybody. Let me just clarify this for everybody. Rachel was off by 58. Mm-hmm. Michelle was off by 90. Jenny was off by 97. Tori is off by 954.
How do you even do that?
100. She was 10 times worse.
Yeah, and she stayed up.
Everybody. The difference between first and third for the ladies was what, 20? I'm looking at it right now. Like 21? No. 9, 8. 7. I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to do that right now. Okay?
Yeah, don't.
8, 19. 19. 19. 19? 29. 20. 5, 6, 7, 8, 30. 30. 39. 39. I got it, I think. 39?
39.
39.
39.
Off by 39.
Incredible.
From first to third, which is incredible for the ladies there. Also, as we have to do here on the number one, Mr. TJ in a black shirt.
Oh my God, I laughed my ass off. And Banana said, "Who died?"
Yeah.
I laughed so hard at that.
They kept that in there. With
yeah,
all
me
the
too.
stuff that they probably need to squeeze into this episode. That they left that little bit and him mooning in the first part with the white whale. And then we were already getting like TJ with the black shirt. And he's like, who died? Like just those. We're bringing a little bit of levity here. Some laughs.
Do you know who died, Stephen?
Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. No, I don't.
Are you ready to find out who died? All the other people in the final, because Jenny helping Tori off the boat floor bent all the way over right in front of the camera. Of course, ending the season perfectly is this week's part 2.
Make your knees touch your elbows. Make your knees touch your elbows.
Pass of the week. Of the week.
I'm just so glad that as this season wraps, we ended it with the correct winner of Ass of the Week for the last one.
We knew she was going to get it. We did take her off the roster for a little bit, but it had to be done. She's the queen of the season with her ass like that. Absolutely ridiculous. And the cameraman was right there getting all of it.
He loved it. He loved it. I'm going to go on a limb. Probably not that far of a limb and say maybe that the cameraman who was getting all these Ass of the Weeks this year, same guy. Maybe.
I can only assume. And thank you for your work, sir. A great way to end the season with Jenny getting Ass of the Week as she deserved.
Amazing.
Everyone standing on the top of that boat getting the results. I've never seen people look so bad in my life. Truly.
I've seen you once or twice in that.
I looked like that.
In that stage of just like,
give me a
at
pistol
the end of like a shoot that's gone incredibly long. There's a. I'll explain this to everybody, boys and girls. Okay. There's a stage when you're working on a shoot and it goes long, where you switch from like despondent, upset, angry, end of the world. There's a little bit of room between that and then delirium, which switches over soon after that.
And
your body there. Just
it's like a black hole.
You're like, hey, let's put on some music. And you put on weird music and you're just like.
At full volume so I can't hear my thoughts.
Full volume. But like 5 minutes before, you had serious thoughts of burning the building down.
Yeah.
And now you're like, let's order pizza and blast music.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
We got the results of the coins and we go to our next checkpoint. This is yet another swim.
My favorite one, by the way. Checkpoint number 5, near and dear to my heart. Love it.
That was your favorite one?
It was my favorite for a very specific reason. And I wonder if you know what the reason is.
Oh, I don't know what the reason is.
Okay. I'll tell you and I'll tell everybody at home.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
You're quite welcome. I'm glad we have a ability to do that here. This was my favorite checkpoint because this is the point where they decided to put in the soundbite from Kyland that they held a gun to his head to make him say. They made this man sit in a chair and say, hey, I got back, but I'm a good paddler, so maybe I could catch up to them.
Yeah.
No.
And he knew it. I mean,
no.
He was helping everybody he helped Michelle and Rachel get up on the platform. And that's what I was saying before. An iconic king. This guy knows he's in last. He's just happy that he made it to a final. He just has to be happy with that at this point, and he's aware of it. So he might as well help some girlies out. Get him up on that platform. He's like, no problem. I got you.
Setting the stage for next year. I'm a helpful king. I'm a helpful king. Look at me.
Helpful king.
I'll boost your booty up there. No problem.
Yeah, he got a little handsy with it. We saw you, and you deserve it. If you're gonna come in last, you might as well get your hands full of some ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get what you can get at this point, and you're not getting any money.
Truly,
get some cheek.
He's getting whatever he can get at this point.
Get some cheek, my guy. The ability for them to go, hey, so we want it to seem like you're not gonna come in last every time. We had this idea for you to say this line. We actually wrote it down for you. So if you can just like read that, and he looks at it and he goes, but that's not true.
I didn't think that at any point in time.
We know that because you were grabbing booty, but that's not. We kind of need we don't also want to just have you look inferior this entire time. It's like, well, that's kind of what happened. Just say it. Okay. So the guys are going back. So maybe if I just do this quick, I can catch up because I'm a good paddler. All right, you guys got it? Did you got what you need? Great. Okay, I hope that makes it in the edit. Cool.
I think you're right.
And Jordan and Jenny win this one. Yeah.
Jordan and Jenny win this one. They move a little bit, and TJ says, you see that sandbar? Come have a drink with me. I was mentally prepared for a VOMS. And I didn't get it. Thank you so much, Mr. TJ. Honestly, I liked that they gave them real coconut water. I was starting to feel really bad for them. And I never feel bad for people in the final because it's just like, this is the final. This is what you're supposed to do. I'm glad they gave them coconut water. Real coconut water.
You felt bad for the people competing during this?
At this point, yeah, you can see it in their faces. They aren't human anymore.
Yeah.
They have fully broken them on all aspects.
I always have this thought during these finals where they do something like this, like
something nice.
The ability for these people, whether we like them or not as characters on a TV show, the fact that none of these people gave up, they all completed all the checkpoints, but also the idea that human beings can actually do this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, Jordan obviously is a superhuman, and he does shit like this. He's a triathlete. Like, this is
for fun.
This is for this. Him doing the challenge at this point is like you going on a vacation and being like, I'm going to go on a rope swing. Yep. No, this is what Jordan does for fun now at this point. He just makes everybody else believe. I think he gets off. His fetish is going on the challenge at this point. I'm going to just say that.
Honestly, probably. And he's great at it. And I get off watching him do it. So we're all winning.
we are all winning. But yeah, the fact that people can actually do this type of stuff when you're not like trained to be like an Olympian, and this is what you specifically trained to do is these super endurance things, to be like, oh, we're just going to put you in like open sea or open lake or open river, whatever Mixie believes the body of water to be, we'll call it that for the sake of this thing.
Gay water.
Gay water. It's always gay water, baby. It's always gay water.
It's gay water, baby. Moving on to the next checkpoint with speed math. I loved this. This was my personal favorite checkpoint because it was pretty simple. It was just swim, do some math, swim back. And the bow that was tied on the Michelle bananas of it all, with Michelle beating him at math, was just, again, chef's kiss. This was a chef's kiss episode. I'm telling you guys. I really enjoyed it. And her beating him at math and him then obviously going to lose to Kylan. I mean, let's finally give Kylan something here. Kylan got third. Yay!
Hey!
So proud of you, buddy.
Hey, bud.
And Bananas having to sit on that island, just drinking his coconut water. It was poetic.
It really, like you said, I think we all thought it was going to be something bad to drink. And that's the trick. Is you say you're going to go do that, and then people are like, I don't know if I want to drink this. And then like, is this real? And then they drink it. They're like, oh my God. The mental fuckitude of I have to now swim as far as this is again. And I'm swimming to my death where I'm going to have to drink something that's going to make me throw up. And then it doesn't. And you're like, oh, what a lovely treat. And then to make it, you're going to sit in deck chairs with the palm fronds and the umbrellas. I was like, okay, really smart way of putting that together.
Incredible. And then Michelle beast the swim.
Let's not overlook the point that Rachel said about Michelle. She has heart. High praise from Rachel, I feel. Like if Rachel's saying that to you, 100%. I think what everybody needs to do, during the holiday, I didn't tell you this. During the holiday, I was laying in bed and I'm on YouTube and I found like a 20-minute clip that somebody put together of like the best Michelle moments from her second season on Survivor. First of all, I was like, look at this little baby. Look at how cute and adorable this little baby is of Michelle. Because I'm just like, it looks like a little college girlie just like out, not eating for, however long.
Yeah.
And watching her, I didn't realize like how she finished in that season, honestly. And seeing all of these roadblocks that she hit during that season, her finding her way through all of these like things that you're like out, to get where she got and where she finished on that show, in a jury show, by the way. Crazy. So if you're just looking at her on the challenge, you're like, I don't like her because they're not a real challenger. Go watch her on that. I guarantee you that will probably change your perspective. And watching this, that brings us to what I was saying at the beginning of the episode. I was going to say
the same thing. I would argue, clear your brain of absolutely everything you know about Michelle and just watch part 1 and 2 and tell me that she's not meant to be on this show. I feel like we're just like our podcast has become us just defending Michelle, but like I do not understand. And I still, like, I asked a while ago and some people commented their reasonings for not loving her, and I didn't feel like they were grounded in anything.
Well, also, I know there's a lot of people who don't like her who did not respond because they don't really have a reason. It's just a feeling. Which is
fine too. Just be like, I don't know. I just don't like her.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Tori.
Yeah. But you can't sit there and go, she doesn't belong in this show after watching this and going, she didn't deserve to at least come in second.
Yes.
You can't sit here and go, watching this, we'll get there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Oh my God, it's so windy outside right now.
It's so windy outside.
We are also recording this on Tuesday, where some of you are watching this. We are safe from fires. We are not near the fires, okay?
Yes, we're safe. Marked safe.
We're safe from the fires.
Give me a graphic. Safe. I want to go into this last one. This last checkpoint. Okay. The water scooters.
Oh, God, I want one of them so bad, Mixie.
Oh, they're so fun. Have you never done one? They're a blast.
No, I've never done one.
Do you feel like they should have made them swim it? Or do you feel like at this point it was fair to give them the water scooters? Do you think the water scooters existed, or do you think they put them there because Kylan was doing so horribly bad?
No, I think it was a change.
But he still had to swim to the scooter, and he still came.
Correct. I think it was a nice little change of pace. It gave them a break towards the end. And it was just, I like that we're switching it up. We've done 7 checkpoints. This is the 7th one. So give them a little scooter. Plus, as we saw with Jenny, maybe you fuck up how you actually pilot the thing and somebody takes advantage and somebody takes the lead, which is what I liked about it. So if somebody was purely dominant in swimming like we saw throughout most of this, maybe they could fuck up the thing and they could come in 4th because they don't understand how it works. And then we get a scenario that kind of played out there. Michelle and Jordan won this. I was so proud of Michelle for coming in. And now I'm sitting here doing the math in my head, going, she about to fucking win this? Like, it's going to be close. I'm glad I wasn't, like, keeping points as I went. I know most people were probably marking down that. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I know she's really close with Jenny. Jenny's come in first a bunch of times. But this is going to be pretty fucking close here.
Yeah. Can we also talk about how all 4 women finished before any of the boys did?
Yeah. A hell of a showing on this final for the ladies.
Incredible stuff. This is now the end. We all celebrate. We've finished, and we go to find out about the karma points. Now, this was interesting because they did show clips of people voting. Now, I want to preface what I'm about to say by the clip I am going to refer to. The person did not say the name before they gave the number. However, it was clearly in a section all for Kylan. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It was in a section all for Kylan. No, I thought you were going to talk about Greaseback Bun Babe.
Nerese gave Kylan a 4. Aren't they best friends? Isn't that all she ever fucking says is how they're best friends?
That's a really good point. Also, as they were going through the karma votes, I was like, oh yeah, Nerese and Orasi were on this season.
Yeah, I know. There was a couple times I was like, oh my God, I remember you.
Brandon, what's up, brother? How's it going?
Kellyanne, what?
Oh my God. Also, why are you guys factoring into this show at all at this point? This seems kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
How long were you here for? 2 days? Great. I'm glad you get to vote on this.
So we find out that it's worth 2 checkpoints. For the men, 0 movement.
0 movement. This is important, everybody.
0 movement. Jordan gets his 5th win. You can see the
graphic on screen right now. Here's the graphic.
He gets his 5th win. Congratulations to him. I think deserved. With how incredible he did in the final. This karma thing is interesting, but he still kept his first place slot. I also want to shout out to Derek again. 2nd place, strong 2nd place from him. He crushed, and I do honestly think that if Jordan wasn't there and there was another guy, Derek might have won the whole thing.
He might have won, but that would have been different on karma points because he got 8. I don't know who would have been. I kind of have to assume it was Derek, Kylan were 1st and 2nd, and then Jordan, obviously, Bananas there because people do like Jordan doesn't need any help.
Yeah.
I'll say before we get to the ladies thing, this karma vote reminds me a lot of House of Villains and how House of Villains ends, where people who really should have no business deciding this show
make a final call out of nowhere
and weigh as a jury as if they've been watching the fucking cameras the entire time.
Yeah. Let's go to the women. Let's
go to the women.
Movement with the women.
Significant movement.
Tori gets fourth. I laughed out loud. Michelle gets third. I was just happy she got some money.
I gasped at this point. Because to me, she was either first or second.
I said it crushed me to see how upset she was, but she was deservingly upset because this was some bullshit. Let's be honest. I am now officially not a fan of the karma vote. And it's not even for because it was Michelle. If it was anybody. This massive of a change based off of, people that weren't even in the house.
Just make it a jury vote. If you're going to do this, make it a jury vote and then have people bring them all out at the end and then have people sit there and plead their case. What you've done is you've brought Big Brother and the Survivor to the challenge, which nobody watching the show wants. I understand maybe if you give it to the last 10 people eliminated from when we went to individuals, maybe we get them a vote. Mm-hmm. But to have people from the very beginning who may have always hated somebody, their vote weighs as much as somebody further up, doesn't matter to me. It is so fundamentally wrong to what we know about the challenge. If you're going to give a karma vote, let it be a penalty for starting the final. Oh, you have to jump in the water 3 minutes later. You have to jump in the water 10 minutes later. So your first checkpoint is going to be screwed. And maybe it's a long one. But to say this is worth more than staying up all night and putting coins in, it's worth double that?
Yeah.
To me is just foul. I'm sorry.
I think that the idea of it is, I don't hate the idea of it. The execution and the amount of weight that it carried.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Okay. Should we go over to the corner? Because I feel like I got a good one here.
Let's go to the corner.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh my God. Stephen, we're in the conspiracy corner.
During the final. Oh my God. I don't think we've ever come here in a final. Actually, you know what? This was probably born out of a final at some point. But that's okay.
Like it was.
Yeah, it probably was. I started to laugh. I don't know if laughing's available. I don't know what the rules are. It feels like a library. Okay.
It's our place. We can do what we want. Tell me what you're thinking.
Now, I pretty much know for a fact that the first time they were told that this was worth 2 karma points was when they were being told what the karma points were.
At the end.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
They just knew it would be worth something, but not worth 2 checkpoints.
Yeah.
So, if I'm sitting here and I look at the points and I go, oh, for the guys, it didn't do anything. Okay. For the girls, if we made it worth 2 checkpoints, it does change something significantly.
Wait.
So maybe we might get worth 2.
Are you saying that if they only made it worth 1, there would have
It would have been Jenny, Michelle, Rachel, Tori. The order would not have changed, just like the men. And you can't have this gimmick all year that you're having people sign things and then it doesn't affect the ending of the show at all. But if you make it worth 2, it does. And as a matter of fact, you get a tie out of it.
I'm leaving the conspiracy corner. This is what happened. I full body dove out of the corner. This is what happened. You're 100% correct.
We are journalists here at the number one, but we do not
allegedly.
We're
safe now. Allegedly. Because when there was no movement with the guys, I was like, production is pissed right now.
Pissed. And then it comes to the girls.
Both.
Yeah.
Damn. That's fucked.
So Jenny would have ended with, so you can see it on the screen right here. It's Jenny has 22 and then 2. So that would be 22 and 1, which would have led her obviously with 23 in math. We're athletes. Rachel had 16. You would have added 4 to that, which would have got her to 20. Michelle had 19. You give her an additional 2 there, would have got her to 21. And then Tori had 13. You give her 3 there, and that would have got her to 16. So it would have been Jenny, Michelle, Rachel, and then Tori. So this whole thing you built all season would have done absolutely nothing if it was worth 1 checkpoint, because you had 7 checkpoints. So you finish with 8 things to be used. And I sit here and go, guys, like, this was our gimmick for the season. This was our gimmick, was this karma vote. We had people stay after. Like, how are we going to edit around what they were being told? Like, this, it doesn't make sense. And if
Stephen, this is fucking insane.
If we double it, then we
double
get a
it and
tie.
give it to the next person.
Yeah, we get a tie, and we can go, oh, Michelle went from 2nd to 3rd. She still wins money, so we're not really fucking her, but we're fucking her with like an unlubricated, expired condom on. You know what I mean? And then you end up with a tie. I also want to point out, this is no slight at Rachel or Jenny not winning the show.
No.
There's nothing to do with that. So you think this is like, oh, they just love Michelle. Well, we do. But also, I think we can clearly see this is not too far of a reach. This is not a crazy thing to think of. This is not
because, well, there's so many variables. The amount of checkpoints. Why would they do 9?
Yes.
Exactly what you were saying as well. If they only did 1, like allegedly we think they were originally planning on doing, there would have been no reason for this entire karma point thing to even happen. However, I will devil's advocate a little tiny bit. They could have just cut all of the karma points from the beginning to the end. Never shown TJ saying that he wanted those people to stay. Never shown any of the fact that the karma vote was even a thing.
Potentially. Yeah.
And cut that whole last part where TJ talks about the karma vote and that there was no movement. But that wouldn't have made this season, and we did it. We kept being like, I wonder what these karma votes is. That keeps people being like, I need to watch the final to figure out how my favorite person that left affected the final.
Right. Also, I think it would be a very tricky edit to go, we're telling these people the points at the end, and there's nobody crossing a finish line. So even if we say it, it's going to look weird because we told them there were karma points and they don't factor in. So there'd be a lot of editing around it. Now we're getting very technical on it. But Rachel had 16 points during the checkpoints. Her karma point was 8. She got half of what she earned during the entire thing.
That's crazy. We'll never actually know for a fact, but I think we know.
Half. She got half.
Production, I know you listen. We will keep it off the record. Your secret is safe with us.
They know. They know that we know because it makes sense. Like
Yeah, it does.
You have to change it. You have to go, oh, it's going to be worth 2 now. You have to. Because why else did you do any of that? You're sitting there going, oh, we think it's going to be pretty tight, but Tori basically always came in last. Rachel got 1 first place. And I don't think they thought it was going to be that big of a runaway. They're like, we're going to have 2 chances with the guys and the girls, so it'll affect a little bit. But what they made the mistake on was like how many points one person would get. And this was like the perfect scenario. Because let's say, for instance, if they doubled it and Jenny had 21 points and Michelle had like 18 and Rachel went from 3rd to 1st, they have a giant problem on their hand.
Well, I think
the fact that it ended in a tie, because they could sit there and do the math, they're like, it would end in a tie with 2 girls that like each other, so I don't think they'd be upset.
Which, by the way, has there ever been a tie like this before?
Okay, that's the next point. The next point is, do we do ties on the challenge now, guys?
Yeah, like I would have thrown him back in the water and made him do exactly what Cara and Tori did.
100%. do an elimination now. You're going to do an elimination to figure out who's first and second. We're going to do something right now.
I was disappointed with a tie as like the final outcome. And then Michelle is standing there crying. It's just like, what?
I just can't believe they ended this show in a tie. It is absolutely bizarre to me on so many levels that this show ended in a tie. And I think there's a lot of people on this cast who did not win who would say the exact same thing. They'd go, what are we doing? Because in every checkpoint, what does TJ say? Whoever did it first wins. Whoever did it quickest. So I would sit there and go, okay, well, it is a tie, but Jenny got the most amount of first place in the checkpoints. You don't even got to throw them in the water.
Yep.
Who got the most first places? Jenny. Jenny wins. Honestly, if I'm Jenny, I'm a little upset. I know she's not because of who she won with. But if I'm Jenny and I clearly won the final, that. I also think, you know, if we're throwing out things, I think they sat there and go, Jenny's our female champ. We didn't invite her back after she won until this season. On our 40th season, we're going to do that?
Yeah. I mean, there had to have been quite a discussion. I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall. That would have been insane.
It tracks though, right? Like, I'm not crazy for thinking this.
I don't think that you're crazy. I was very upset about the tie. Personally, when I watched it originally, the jump for Michelle upset me, but I felt like it was more because I am a fan of hers. But the more we're discussing it, it's not right. I really just don't think that it's the right thing. And then on top of it to end in a tie. But I will say,
I yelled out loud, we do ties on the challenge now for the final?
The last 5 minutes of this was just like, what the fuck is going on? I will give Mr. TJ, the handler, a shout out. Him telling Michelle that she's a badass.
Love it.
Love it. I mean, I feel like he was like, what the fuck is this show doing? I have to fucking pick up the pieces right now.
Yeah, we just jobbed her out of $50K because he clearly knows. I've been here watching them come back to the boat, and she's been doing great, and she's third.
I mean, but also, as we've discussed, it is money involved, so they have to be following some sort of rules.
Sure, legally. Yes, they do, but I feel like they can't change who came in first and second. They can sit there and go, well, this is worth 2 points now. Maybe. Again, this is why it's all alleged.
I don't know. This is blowing my brain hole.
It's what? I love that he did that. I love that he said you're a badass. I love that he said, no, let him out. Like, that was not, hey, TJ, can you say something?
Yeah, no, that was
TJ. And I think it's so important that they put that in and they just didn't blow by it. Mm-hmm. Because I think they're sitting there as like production and editors going, I know what all of you fuckers thought out there. You thought she was going to maybe Kylan this. Sorry, Kylan. She was going to Kylan this and come in last.
Yep.
She came in second and we jobbed her to get to third. Mm-hmm. Can we put some respect on her name now? Like, what does she need to do?
Fuck, man.
Like, what does she need to do?
But don't worry, Stephen. They all ended with a group hug.
Great. You love to see a group hug. I love to see. Wouldn't want to do this with any other people other than you.
The classics. The classics were hit.
Did you see the very end?
They needed to do this to try to save face. They threw us a CT pro tip at the very end. I was like,
this is why this was in there. It was in there because they were like,
everybody's pissed.
So everybody's gonna like light up the internet on Wednesday night. Do we have one more final CT pro tip? They're like, actually we do. They're like, oh my god, thank God so much, because we would have been fucked no matter what. We had put it in there, put it in there, please, so people don't lose it. Which brings me to my next point. we're going to have problems on the internet as of right now with this show.
God, yeah. I was just about to say, my ass is sat on Twitter tomorrow. Sat. Because not only is it going to be fans, I really think like people like Nerese, people that were in it and then watched this final. I think there's going to be
all these other people, OGs.
Yep, I think that the OGs are probably going to be like Rachel deserved it and fighting with the people that are like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Which again, I know you said this already, and I will say it myself as well. This is no shade to Rachel or Jenny or literally anyone on.
Jenny won. Let's make that very clear. Jenny won this final. All we're saying is
it's crazy that this is like what they did.
That it was worth 2 and somebody got a tie and we didn't go, oh, it's a tie. What? I think if you go, hey, we swapped first and second, Jenny came in with the most things. She actually did the best on the final. Jenny is our winner. I think people would go, okay.
Yep.
That's okay.
We watched it.
But we're going to say a tie and you're going to split 475 between 2 people with the person who actually did third during the final. And the person who did second gets third place during the final because of random people voting who were there for 2 weeks, who hate people. Also, just like House of Villains, isn't that part of what you want a challenger to do?
Yes.
Isn't that part of what makes a great TV show?
Yes.
You want somebody who's not going to go around and ruffle feathers and you're just going to sit there and play a nice game. A whole house
where they're all just hunky-dory with each other? Boring.
Listen, Derek beasted it. He didn't do anything with. I was like, I can't believe he yelled at that person. That I can recall. He's sipping the pina colada. Great memes, great gifts. But not, I'm like, oh, he's stirring shit up.
And we also didn't really see much of Derek because he wasn't.
Yeah.
Because the editing floor is like, this isn't entertaining. So we're going to cut more of him than maybe we should because he's a finalist. Because he's not as entertaining. He's just a good dude.
I'm going to say, this is going to be the most talked about final in challenge history, other than Sarah getting the money taken from her. This is going to, like, the fact that we witnessed this live and we're recapping this live, people are coming to podcasts, I think, right now to hear this because they're like, this is fucking crazy. Am I also crazy for thinking this? No, you're not. No, you're not.
You know what's even funnier? This fuck up with what I'm going to call a fuck up with how they ended this, right? This quote unquote fuck up made even worse by Canadian MTV dropping Reunion Part 1 instead of the final Part 1. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. I saw so many clips of the reunion on Instagram, on Twitter, definitely not on Reddit because I'm not on Reddit. On Reddit. I saw it everywhere.
Everywhere.
Before part 2
somebody had to get fired for that, right?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, how many people does that go through? Like, how many people? Was it just a mislabeled file?
No, it's one. It's probably one person who has them and linked it to the wrong thing and hit publish. That's how that worked.
Yeah, no, somebody definitely had to get fired.
You might think at these big media companies, there are like levels of checks for this type of stuff. There's not. You think they're keeping those jobs around nowadays? Those jobs are fucking gone, baby. Gone.
Well, I originally saw it on Twitter and I was scrolling and I saw that it was the reunion and I was like, what the fuck? But I didn't want to spoil the reunion for myself because I'm good. So I exited Twitter. Then we finally got final part 2, which we got late, which is why we're recording so late.
This is why I'm dead as you're listening to this.
It takes me forever to get part 2, and you guys released the reunion on accident? What are we doing?
That's absolutely bizarre shit with the reunion coming out before that. It's crazy. I don't think we've ever had something like this before. I think
wild.
In a weird way, I think they like it because it'll be talked about. It will be remembered as a season and not like people are like 39 was 38 was, Tori and Devin. I think they're sitting here going, okay, it's a bananas taking the money from Sarah. Also, I didn't say this. When the karma points were being given out, I got full chills when Cara said Bananas, 1 point. This is for Sarah.
1 is for Sarah.
Salute. God damn it.
Good for you, Mara.
Yeah, if that would have, she's thinking at the time, maybe this takes him completely out of the money, but it didn't.
Kylan.
Sorry, man. I don't know about you. I'm going to ask you this. After watching it and sitting with it for, 10 minutes, how did you feel about it after?
Confused.
Okay.
Confused. I wasn't as upset about the tie as I think you were, but because for me, I was like, this must have been a thing that's happened in the past that we tie. But I was like, they should have battled it out, but I wasn't as upset about it. I was just confused. And seeing Michelle do so well and then get knocked to third, Tori getting fourth, hilarious. But I was just, the episode ended and the credits were rolling and I was just kind of staring at it.
I think it becomes easier. I just thought of this. If somebody was in second and they got to first, I think people would go, okay, that's kind of what the idea was. You could switch a point. What happened, obviously, was somebody who was in third for the final won the show.
Yeah.
They won. They can call themselves a champion. Again, nothing against Rachel.
No.
Absolute fucking legend.
It
We
could have
love
been
her.
anybody.
We're looking forward to potentially doing a long interview with it. This could have been anyone. Anyone. It could have been Michelle. And I would have been like, hey, this is weird. It could have been Olivia. It could be anybody that we usually love on this show.
We still would be having the same conversation.
That's what I wanted to say. We'd still be having this same conversation and I think everybody could sit there and go, well, if CT went from third to first, you'd be like, I'd love CT.
Yeah. I mean, it's just wrong.
I don't know how to feel about that. I think a switch of one place, people would go, okay, you go from second to third, first to second, third to fourth.
Worth 2 checkpoints.
And maybe that's what it was all along. I don't know. Because again, if it was always
9
worth 2.
checkpoints, really?
It's a weird 7. It's just a weird number.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know, allegedly. But I think more people would have been like, okay, I get that. Because the final is supposed to mean something, and it didn't. Fundamentally, the final didn't mean anything to the winner.
Yeah.
The person who did the best during the final lost about $200,000 for winning because of a karma vote.
This
is crazy.
How did you feel at the end of it? Were you just pissed?
Same. It was this uneasy, maybe. Uneasy.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how we're doing this? We ended in a tie. And second, somebody goes from third to first because of votes of people who were there for 2 weeks. Obviously, all of Era 1 is going to give her the points.
And then there's so many people that she put she kind of was the mom to almost.
100%.
She's got all bananas people.
Then there's the penalty for Michelle who had to go in for 3 eliminations and say people's names.
Yep.
Because she had to. That's how it works. So you're kind of penalized for playing the game the way we want to see the game be played. So
we're about to lose power.
I saw you flicker there for a little bit.
I was flickering. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. This is something's in the air in 2025.
I don't think it has to do with the fires. We're still safe. We're marking ourselves safe.
We're safe. It's really windy. We're safe. Marked safe. Graphic. I don't know what's going on in 2025, but this is a wild ending to the season. I'm curious to see, again, I saw some clips, but I didn't really see anything of them talking about the final and how it all played out. So I'm curious if they'll talk about that in the reunion. We will not be recapping the reunion. You guys know that we will not be doing that, but we do have some secret little side projects that we are cooking on. So make sure you are staying locked into the number one. And then guys, All Stars. I'm back on the train. I'm not going to fight it this time. I will do All Stars with you, Stephen. I won't make you do it by yourself.
I appreciate that. Maybe we'll do what we did last time, which is like a little mix of just like random stuff.
Yeah.
And
let us know what you guys would like, how you'd like us to go about it. We're open to ideas here. And don't you worry, we will be smashing or passing that cast. That there is no way around that.
Also, I kind of want to do Smash or Pass with the Bachelorette people, or the Bachelors people who just came out.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Because I think it's a wild ride of
I haven't
people
watched
in there. I think it's a very
in a long time.
Yeah, that would be an interesting recap. Obviously, if you guys like my takes on this, and this is the last episode you're going to listen to, you can follow me at Huge SNL Fan on the Instagram to see my Bachelor reaction things. That'll be in the stories starting on Monday in 2 weeks, something like that. I think we're that close, 2 weeks now, of me yelling at the screen on The Bachelor. That's super fun to do, so you can enjoy some content from that way. If you're not following me over there, if you want to follow Mix, you can follow Mix. You can shout out your handle if you want to. No, she doesn't really post.
But yeah, you can follow me. I will take the follow. I mean,
if she posts a story, you guys, it's a big day.
It's a big day.
It's a big day.
I don't really.
Or somebody's birthday that's dear to her. That's how you know. I was like, oh, somebody's birthday. Who is it? Click. Okay.
I do want to thank all of you for going on this season 40 journey with us. It's been since, what was it, August? What the fuck? So we really appreciate you guys sticking with us and enjoying the podcast. We love making it for you. We will be back. I don't know when, but soon. We're not planning on taking a massive break or anything like that. So keep your eyes peeled. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our drops.
Listen, I didn't want to bring this up at the end, but we still have the interview. YouTube. We wanted 1,000. It was a lofty goal.
It was unrealistic as fuck. I appreciated the stars that you were shooting for, but we were basically at the mantle of the core of the fucking, is that what it's called? The mantle? Look at me. Geography. Geology. Whatever.
I was thrown back when I heard that. It's like
it was not going to happen, Stephen. I'm 99% sure that I said it when you said it. I go, no chance.
Well, I would like to say I appreciate those of you who came on to try to bring us to the Holy Land. Unfortunately, we did not get there. We only came up, let's see, how many short? Just 322 short, less than toys count. I thought. Less than toys count, 322. We're at 688 as of right now. So
that's not bad.
Go us. We tried valiantly. We want to thank everybody who donated on YouTube. Obviously, we're going to keep posting on YouTube. It's not like we're going anywhere, but we wanted to give you that check-in because I said, we got to get there. I stopped asking a few weeks ago because I knew I was like Kylan. I was like,
You were pissing on the YouTube sign. I get it.
So, with that being said, guys, thank you very much. The interview is coming up here in just a few seconds. Thank you so much for coming on the ride. As Mixie said, it's been a fun season to do. Hopefully this was your first season or you just found us. You've enjoyed this humorous take on the challenge and not the other podcasts you usually listen to who are not funny at all. And you're going to hear more humorous, amazing questions when we talk to your season 40 female champions. Also, side note, it's not that we didn't want to talk to Jordan. Jordan was not made available for whatever reason, whether he was traveling or did not want to do the interview. Don't think we were like, they don't want to talk to Jordan. Was not an option.
We would have. We love you guys. Enjoy the interview. We will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
You guys, we are in the presence of two angels. Welcome to the number one, the two female champions of season 40, Rachel and Jenny. Woo! Congratulations.
The crowd goes wild.
Let's go. Air horns for both of you guys. Oh my God.
Yeah, you better put those
Thank
in.
you.
Oh, they're in everywhere on our podcast. Believe you me. Yes, they're here. Oh, well, ladies, thank you very much. Congratulations on this epic season, being the two final champs together. Very storybook ending, I think we would say. But the thing that I don't think is written in any story is how much feet content was part of this season that I don't think anyone had on their bingo card.
John, what is it called? What's it called? Fuck, a fetish. Johnny's fetish is like now out for the open. Like I think he's out now, and women show him their feet. So he's like living in heaven. You know, he'll send me pictures of him like out, and he'll be like, "You think these feet are nice?" And I'm like, Johnny, yeah. I mean, listen, it could be gross. I think there's way worse. I mean,
there is.
I'm okay with a foot fetish. Like,
it's a relatively tame one. I've had some very weird DMs with what weird people want. so yeah, it's not too bad.
Let's just say I've been trying to talk Jenny into making an OnlyFans of just feet, because there's a market here for me, Jenny, and Aviv to just like direct deposit 10 grand into our account equally.
I told Aviv about this when we talked to her. I was like, "When is it starting?" She goes, "I need help," and I was like, "We'll help you. The number one will help you here. You know, we'll take a small fee."
I think if we all get together, have a few drinks, so we don't know what could happen.
I'll run it.
Yeah, I think if get us a few drinks and we'll get the conversation going, and Only Feet could be coming to you very soon.
Yeah,
I think
you heard it here first.
Yeah,
we want to get Aviv that champion money. You know, we're like, come on, Aviv, we're gonna get it for you.
You could get it with feet pics. They're people pay a lot.
I know, I'm sure.
So she's got very cute feet. To be real, very, very cute.
Well, she has to have good feet if she's an angel. Let me tell you that.
Oh yeah, it's very strict.
Did you guys have to do any weird like rituals to become a part of the angels? Did you squeeze some bananas?
Oh, you have to audition.
Guys, let's be honest. The women of the angels, right? We ran that. We knew exactly what we were doing. Johnny, listen, Johnny is I know people, it's very provoking for me to say this to people, and I know it really provokes people, but he happens to be a nice guy, and he happens to be a very likable guy. And the truth is, at some point in the game, you have to look at what you're dealt, right? Because every game you're dealt a new card. And Johnny working with us and us working with Johnny was very beneficial for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people seem to overlook the fact that he chose targets 2 times in a row. You know, that was very beneficial for Jenny, myself, and Eve. We basically got through 2 entire weeks or challenges knowing we would never be the target.
Yeah.
As far as him working with us, he knew he had 3 of the strongest women who are potentially going to win a challenge every single time, going to save him. There were mutually beneficial things happening in this alliance, if you want to call it that. And, you know, I obviously think the feet were secondary to that. I think that had I had,
we don't want to put too much
ugly feet. I think had I had ugly feet, Johnny would still be.
You'd been like Cara. You would have been like Cara. You would have been on the outskirts.
Yeah, ostracized. You know what I mean? Ostracized. Yeah, you can't. I think as well, what was really great about our, you know, the Johnny's Angels, we don't even like to say that at this point, do we, Rach? Because we, you know, it was like, say, beneficial for both sides. But what we always had with our alliance, it wasn't a desperate need to scurry around and gather numbers to protect each other. It was an organic respect and friendship, because we all felt like one another were authentic and genuine. And that is only ever the way I will play the game. I cannot be bothered with the time and effort to have fake friendships or whatever to benefit my game. And that's what I loved about our, you know, Johnny's Angels, or our group, is I genuinely trusted everybody with my life. And that was like,
yeah, go on, Jenny, go on. Jenny is the most real person you can play the game with. She's the most real person you can play the game with. She has.
I can't act.
I love that. And it comes through when we watch you on TV. Jenny, I do have a very important question for you. On our podcast, I have the honors of crowning an Ass of the Week every week. You won Ass of the Week so many times, we had to actually take you off of the eligibility list for a while.
Are you joking? Is this a thing?
Yes.
That's rigged. I call rigged right now. That's fucking rigged. I should have won that at least a few
Rachel,
weeks.
You won. I think you got 2. I'm pretty sure you got 2 as well. But Jenny took it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay.
Jenny's ass is just a muscle.
It's insane.
It's 2 big muscles.
It is now time, as the Ass of the Week queen for season 40, to accept your crown. Can you give us a little acceptance speech?
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, I just want to say that, you know, as a 38-year-old woman, often people think that once you hit a certain age, you can't have the gains. But I'm here to tell you that if you want ass gains, you can go and get them. Never let age stand in your way. Never let anybody else stand in your way. You get in that gym, you pick up the heavy shit, can I swear? I already have. And you lift it. Yeah, be consistent, get in there, build yourself an ass that you're proud to have and sit on. It's very comfy when you're on hard chairs, by the way, when you've got a little bit more cushion in the pushing. If that's the way around, pushing in the cushion. I don't know how
steel boats.
Yeah.
Big ass is really it's absolutely a necessity. So this is a survival tactic for us right now.
It is. It's actually, it's kind of like a weapon I can utilize at times, should I say. But I am very honoured and very flattered. Everyone's made this 38-year-old woman very happy. And may my crown reign, and may I continue to grow it.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. Never stop. Never stopping.
Never stop.
I think, a little bit of it had to do with, the cameramen obviously loved it. So they were just like,
I'm so glad
every time, There was one in the episode in the final part 2 that like Johnny was talking, the camera was just like right there. I was like, this is a bit. They put this in just for us, for one more thing I know that was for us. Thank you very much, editing team, for shouting out the number 1 in the edit. But yeah, it was. I was like, they understand what's going on now at this.
Do you know what? I'm pleased that even at that stage of the game, my ass was still seen as something that was to be like, oh wow, look, because my ass went so flat in the weeks of filming, the 10 weeks of filming. Like I didn't train my lower body apart from once right before the mini
phenomenon. Jenny didn't work out. Jenny worked out maybe 5 times the entire time we were in the house. I'm like, Jenny, how? I mean, we were like, it was so funny.
Tell you what, mentally that motivation was just, we don't rely on motivation, and obviously I'm in the challenge and I'm supposed to be doing, all of that, but I just kept getting screwed over. The one time I did do a workout, it was, mini final and my legs were killing. So I thought, you know what? I'm just not going to train. I'm just going to leave it. Came back to the UK and I was like, holy crap, where has my backside gone? But thankfully it didn't take too many workouts in the gym to bring it back.
Muscle memory, baby.
Yeah, muscle memory.
Impressive.
Rachel, I wanted to ask you a question. Obviously you train on literally everything. We see it all the time. So what type of training did you do in the preseason to be able to count those coins so well? And is that tutorial available on rachelfitness.com?
Listen, I have to be honest. I'm actually going to put out a video soon because I want to show the training that I did before I did the challenge. I did a lot of math. I did a lot of memory. I was meeting with, it's actually like a personal friend of mine who happens to like basically teach kids. And she was like, listen, if you want, every week, she's in Canada. She's like, we can meet on Zoom and we can do like memory games and math. And I was like, yes, I want to. Because first off, I need like a teacher. And 2, I need an appointment. So we would meet weekly. And, I could tell my math game, like, she was teaching me shortcuts, to remember things, to, cut the time off. And it absolutely helped. And then also, I think with the coin counting, it was really about strategy. The thing that I don't think viewers fully grasp when they're watching the show is that everything we do, whether it looks simple or not, has a strategy to it. And one of the things I did with the coins, which I actually hid it in the beginning because I didn't know if it was allowed until I saw everyone kind of doing their own form of it. But I would put 10 coins in the box and then I'd put 1 to the side. 10 coins, 1 to the side. So I never had to count more than 10. And I always knew, and I had a system to where I'd put all the coins in, count the ones, make sure I didn't miss those because those
Yeah.
also count. And I'd get myself to a nice round number before I went back up to the top of the
That's
boat.
smart.
So I'd always know I was at like 1,000 or 900.
Yeah.
Jenny, on the other hand, did not. The best part is Jenny gets third on the coin counting, literally threw them in and then just said a random number.
Incredible. Iconic.
Right. I just want to have a little bit of a say here, and then I'm going to go back to something Rachel said, right? I did see loads of people go, comments about my attitude on the final. I just want to say that on day one of the final, I came on my period, and TMI for anyone who doesn't want to know, but I choose not to be around human beings on day one because I go from being a really nice person to an absolute bitch. I have no patience and everybody annoys me, right? So my ability to just like understand I was there and it's supposed to be hard. Like I wanted it to be hard, but everything just grated me. And I was actually just throwing the coins in, like couldn't give a fuck. Not defending myself, but
the best part about Jenny on the final, the best behind the scenes part of Jenny on the final is that yes, she was on her period, which absolutely was not ideal. And anyone who knows Jenny or lives with her knows that it's a very big deal when she gets her period. Like I get my period, I don't give a shit. Life goes on. Jenny gets her period, the whole world stops, you know?
Fine.
So, but she would she kept coming back to the boat and she would like immediately start hysterically crying. And John and I would obviously minutes later or 20 minutes later, get back to the boat and be like, Jenny, what happened? Like, what happened? And she'd be like, and we'd be like, did you not get I got first, hysterical, crying, and then be like, and every time we'd come up to her, like, do you need anything? What did you place? Like, what happened? I got first. And she would just keep crying. And I'm like, Jenny, and I knew and one of the more reasons why it is so special that we won together is because at some point in that final, reality hit that I was just not as strong a swimmer as Jenny and Michelle. And I knew out of those two, I needed to make sure Jenny won. So I just started literally pulling her to the side every chance I got.
Yeah.
And being like, Jenny, you are going to win. Just stay in it.
I can still vision your face now looking at me, your eyes all wide, and you're like, Jenny, you are going to win this.
Yeah.
You need to pull your shit together. And I was looking at you thinking I was actually like, I just don't even care.
I just didn't want her. I didn't want her to I didn't want her to lose it, you know, which is just a beautiful underlying story to us working together because at the end of the day, like I said before we got on the podcast, I truly believe this was meant to be. The results are absolutely transparent for people. You can see exactly what we placed. You can see exactly what karma points we got. Didn't change. Nobody can, I'm sorry, but nobody can tell me otherwise that I didn't have the best karma out of the 4 women left. We all knew that going in. That was something that the viewers can't dispute. As far as all the karma points were kind of given out, you can tell. Listen, the best thing that ever happened to Jordan is that Johnny made the final with him because he didn't get a 2 instead of a 4, right? Like there are certain things that happen in this game that you can't make happen, but they happen and they're meant to be. And, there were 2 checkpoints in particular where I felt I could have placed better. I got beat in the water, right? I was in the water quicker, but unfortunately I didn't make it.
Yeah, when Michelle caught up to you and you were like,
Michelle caught up to me
Christ.
And Tori caught up to me in the memory one. The memory first day one, I actually was ahead of her in the water. And right before we got to the boat, I kind of veered off instead of going straight because it's so hard. It's choppy.
Yeah.
Barely see, right? Yeah. You can, and
you're swimming with shoes on. Let's also say that. I don't think anybody trains to swim with shoes on.
Yeah, trainers, not water shoes, trainers.
Or to swim in the choppiest of water that is so
not to mention all of Rachel's muscle. Do you know what I mean? Those shoulders and delts, that shit is heavy in the water. We're lugging that through the water. That's even harder.
Who knew Jenny? Anyway, I'm so proud of us. But my point is that I could have potentially finished a bit better on some checkpoints. And had I have done that, I would have went ahead of Jenny. And I would have never been okay with that between us. That would have made the season, even if I would have won, like, let's say my karma was 8 and Jenny's was 2, and she crushed the final, and I got a 2nd place instead of a 3rd place on one of those, right?
Yeah,
that's all that needed to happen. All that needed to happen was me to get a 2nd place.
Yeah, just one point, one
thing here, one thing there, or again, in the other way, you know, if she had lost, if Michelle got one more, you got one less. There's the math all over the place.
The women would have been different. The outcome could have been different with just one checkpoint.
One checkpoint, right? Yeah, and I think that's the crazy thing. It's just
it's very it
comes down to
the
one
way
checkpoint.
It worked out. And I think, like, and I said this to Rachel on the boat, you know, after, you know, because at first I was told to come first in the physicality of the final, and I knew I was going to be screwed over in karma. Like, I knew that, and finding out that her and I were sharing that first prize meant so much more, because as a woman, as an athlete, and everything Rachel's been through to get to this point, like, I look at her and I kind of see a lot of me in her as well. You know, putting in a lot of work. Last woman standing, always turns up. She plays a fair game, and for me, like, everything she'd gone through, she deserved to win. She deserved to win first prize. So it was so much more better that it worked out like that. Like, and when has that ever happened? And when is that ever likely to happen again? So many things had to fall in place for that to happen. And, like, I just love how it all worked out for us. And it was ace that we were together, and we both took it home. Like, it gives me goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, it was an incredible final to watch. I really enjoyed it. I know that there was some complaints about the swimming aspect, like watching it, but just the athleticism, and Rachel, you touched on this as well in the episode. The athleticism from the women specifically was mind blowing, and it was just, as a woman, incredible to watch you guys just cook these men. It was awesome.
I mean, I kept saying every time I came in, I'm like, can I just be on the guy's side? Then I'd be second place. You know, like, I kept coming in and, like, being 3rd, and then looking around at Jordan and Jenny and Michelle and being like, why can't I just be 2nd place now? And I just have to clarify one thing, because they make me sound, listen, I am definitely a feminist, but they make me sound a little bit more than I even am, because on the last checkpoint, we were told whatever coin we come back with is our placement, right? So when we got out there, me and Michelle went underneath to get the last coin in that cave, and I came up with a 1 medallion. So Michelle and I beeline back to the boat. Up until literally watching the final episode, I thought I was given first place points, because I came back with a 1 medallion. Michelle came back. Even Jordan was freaking out in the water because he couldn't find the 1. And he was like, he came back with a 2, right? So when I'm in my interview, I'm like, listen, Michelle may have come in first, but I don't care, because all I had to do was beat all the guys.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that. And I'm like, if you're going to give me 2nd place on camera, clarify that I'm not out to lunch. I'm not out to lunch in terms of, like, not knowing how
everybody would understand, though. It's been a long 2 days, not a lot of sleep. Everybody would kind of understand that you were a little loopy the next day doing all your interviews. Like, it's understandable. Like, you're going to be loopy at the end of the day today.
People are going to, like, just eat me up. They're going to be like, Rachel, you know, you weren't performing on the guy's side. I'm going to be like, yes, I know.
I'm aware.
But I did come back with a 1 medallion. So I thought that I was also first place. But anyway, it was very funny. And like Jenny and I said, it was magical. Truly.
It was.
Mixie's got one more question, and we're going to let you guys go here.
Speaking of magical, Jenny, you got put on Vape Watch very early in this season. It was my duty to try to find little shots of you in the corner with your little red and white vape. We caught it a few times during the season. Are you still hitting that suck stick? And do you feel like it has anything to do with your asthma? Obviously, your asthma story was kind of big this season. We didn't really see you struggle with it during the final. So did you quit and it was better by the final, or what was going on there?
So very long story short, I've never smoked in my life. And then I kind of got into vaping by accident. And I think because I spend a lot of hours on my laptop and I have ADHD, there's something about the habit of reaching for something that makes it so easy. Yeah, I feel like I can concentrate on work a lot easier. Anyway, so what started as something that's just very casual ended up being something where it was kind of just always on me. And then obviously it came quite apparent very quickly in filming that it wasn't helping me out. But saying that, whilst I did kind of give up my vape for about 3 or 4 weeks into the season, I do have exercise-induced asthma. And I'm actually got an appointment with the doctors when I come back from Miami, which I'm flying out tomorrow morning in a few hours, because a woman on Instagram reached out to me about this condition that she thinks I might have. Because it's not like my lungs are fine. This is the thing. My lungs are fine. It's my throat is extremely restricted and tight. And she thinks it might be some kind of vocal cord disorder. And I was told when I was about 12 years old, I had a camera put up my nose and into my throat, that there is an issue with vocal cords not moving together or coming together. So I don't actually know how much of it was
that versus the other. Yeah. But you were fine during the final. There was no points where you were like gasping.
Swimming was great for Jenny. It was like meant to be. Mm-hmm. I like the final swimming, and I have to just point out, I just want to say real quick, I like that the final was swimming, even though it wasn't my strong suit compared to the girls that were there, because honestly, we could have had another stack of women that I probably would have been one of the stronger swimmers. But it made the results like you couldn't predict them. You know, like you kind of saw the same women winning, right? All the individuals, i.e. Tori, you know what I mean? But then you take us into the final and you give us something that is completely different than what we've been doing, completely out of the box. And I thought that it was just so genius for them to give us something that nobody saw coming, you know, regardless of, and I'm speaking of it as someone who's, you know, anyway, but that was just my side note. But I did go to bat for Jenny online because everyone talked shit, right? And I was like,
I'm glad I haven't seen any of it.
You didn't see
well,
it?
listen, here's the thing. You can try as people in this, and Rachel, you've been around for a while. You understand this. You can try your best with the online community. It's not going to do shit. Let's be honest here, guys. You're never going to.
I just like to know that the opinion is out there, and I like to correct people. To be honest, I like to correct people who speak for the challenge as if it's matter of fact.
Got it.
So
yes, I hate that.
People were saying online, Jenny, that you were freaking out during the coin counting because you were having vape withdrawal. Right?
Yeah,
I saw
and
that.
I'm like, screw you. No. Like, first up, Jenny stops. I just said, Jenny stopped smoking her vape after her elimination with Anissa. That was when I remember she put it to the side and she was like, no more. And
it was just like a casual in the evening, a couple of hits. It was never walk around with it all day. So
not that anybody would ever do that.
Yeah, you didn't have it at a daily. I didn't catch it in your hand at a daily.
I went from literally carrying it. Honestly, I'd wake up in the morning, vape, go to bed, vape. And then it was just like a bit every now and then eventually completely gone. About 3 weeks for the final was the last time I think I actually vaped because I knew the final was, if I'd made it to the final. But if I didn't even have a nicotine withdrawal, I don't know. I didn't feel addicted to the nicotine in the vape. It was more like a habit for me of reaching for it. But yeah, there was no nicotine withdrawal. It was a full-on day one period. And honestly, like, I'm dangerous on my day one. Like, I was just fuming at production because they wouldn't give me medication for my cramps. I don't care about having a headache or muscle cramps for my body for the final, whatever. But there was something about me, this is anger. If that was a female producer, she would have understood. And I was like, it's sexist. Like, I was going off. Honestly, when I watched myself, I think, Jen, just shut up.
There was some good editing. Some great editing to cut all that out. Well, ladies, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Congratulations on your big W's. Hopefully we'll get to talk a little bit later at another point in time or longer. We'll let you guys go and go on the whole thing. But we appreciate it. Congratulations. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks for coming on the number one.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
I'll do your podcast.
You're coming back, girl.
We'll love it.